Hey guys, MC Stu here. Another STO video. I'll be going over in this video Tour the Galaxy. It's been a while since I've seen a new updated video. There's some pretty decent ones out there. Most of them though are showing C-store ships and things like that, and I wanted to basically show you how you could acquire a ship and the consoles and engine for it without having to spend any real money. And just using in-game things that you can easily grind out fairly quickly, and be able to complete the entire Tour of the Galaxy. So it's an easy way. Once a day, you can do it per character, and completing it will get you 925,000 EC. So almost a million. If you were to spend say 45 minutes in a day, you could get just about 3 million a day. So that adds up pretty quick there for whatever it is that you want to buy off the exchange. So the ship that we're using is the Odyssey, and let's pull that up here. Odyssey Star Cruiser. This ship, you can purchase this. It's, as far as I think there might be one other one, but this one you can purchase with fleet credits. So it's 200,000 fleet credits. So you do not need the dilithium or an EC, or I'm sorry, a C-store ship for that. It is Vice Admiral ship. Where is it at? There's a ton here. Okay, here it is. So provided your fleet has provisions, which mine has a ton, and you have 200 fleet credits, you can purchase this ship. And on top of the fact that it's not a C-store ship, this is a ship that has an advanced slipstream drive. So the duration of your slipstream is twice as long as most other ships, with the exception of the other Odyssey variants and with the Miracle Worker ship. But there's 3 of those, and also there's a science ship, the Fezva, something like that. In any case, those are all going to be C-store ships. This one, you could grind this out if your fleet is active. You could grind out 200 fleet marks fairly quickly, and have this ship. And this platform is more than enough with some additions to it to be able to complete Tour of the Galaxy. So I just put on the 2 pieces that you'll need. There is one other piece, and I don't think my kid has this. Is my kid's account, and I don't think he has the Borg. Oops. No, he does not. The Borg engine. So that'll give you more sector speed, which is always a plus. But you don't have to have it. I have this in here just because I needed to be able to get from where it dropped me into. The sector, or not sector, into the Sol system to get over to the starbase. So anyways, let's just take that out. Alright, so the first thing you're going to need is going to be this warp core. It's the Gamma warp core. You get this from the Gamma rep. And the nice thing about this, what makes it fairly easy, is it becomes available at tier 1. So you figure 2 days, 4 days, depending on if you have any other characters that have tier 6, it'll go faster. But here it is, and this is a tier 1 item. So within a couple days, if you were starting the game brand new, within a couple days you could have access to this warp core. This gives you faster slipstream, 100%. And does it do anything else here for us? No. Okay, so it's let's just read it. 50% reduction cooldown in, okay, that's in transwarp, slipstream drive, recharge, 100% faster, so it'll be half the time for that. And then it does 60% increase to your slipstream speed. So 60% increase in speed and 100% faster recharge time for your slipstream. So this particular ship, it has twice the duration. The recharge time is the same as every other ship out there, but with this core, it cuts it down to half. So this right here is just, I mean, for Tour of the Galaxy, it's a must-have. It's you can do it with other setups, but it has best of both worlds because it has the recharge and the speed increase. The other item that is on here is going to be this console here. It's the Polaric Modulator. This comes from a mission reward, and we'll show you that here. It's from the Iconian War, Delta Flight.
Captain
So you complete
Tom
this
Paris
mission
has
here.
requested your ship for a joint mission with his task force.
Oh, and we have,
Lie to you.
let's
We're
see,
not
yeah, here it
making
is.
much
Okay.
headway against the
Complete this
Iconians
mission
so
and
far.
grab that.
You and your crew
Those are the 2 items you need, along with the ship, in order to complete Tour of the Galaxy. The Tour of the Galaxy is given... Where's the guy at? This guy? No. There's actually a guy standing around you can get it from, but you can get it from your available tab. So generally, you know, wherever you're at, where you left off, you know, prior to deciding to run this, you don't have to come all the way back to Earth space stock. But I believe this guy here gives it. Yep, Tour of the Galaxy. You can also get it from your available tab. It's down towards the bottom. I always scroll past it a million times. Tour of the Galaxy right here. So just go ahead and slot. Now if I accept it now, okay, so I'm not going to accept it now because once you do that, it starts running the clock and you have basically 15 minutes to be able to complete this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it here and get her over to the other side of the map at the starting point. I'll go ahead and put up the map of the route I'm going to take. I'll also post a link to that down in the description for you guys as well. And then I'll go over that. So here is the route that I'm going to take. I'm going to start here down in the bottom right corner of the beta quadrant, and essentially I'm going to follow this whole map here. Now, it's been a little while since I've ran it, so hopefully, you know, we won't run into any big problems here. But some of the, you know, what you need to kind of get down is your timing of when you're running your drive and when you're not. So there's some times when it's available that I'm not going to run it because there are certain turns, even with the console and stuff that I have, that you're just not going to be able to make. You have to slow down way too much, and you'd actually be faster just at regular warp speed. So generally I'm going to start this, and I'm not going to use, I'm just going to stay at warp speed. I'm going to come out this way, I'm going to turn up, and then I'm going to engage that warp, or the slipstream, all the way up to here, start to make this turn, and then I'm going to turn it off, because with the particular setup I have, you know, I just flew over to the start point, and I was able to get from Earth space dock almost to the star in one go. So I mean, it'll run for a, you know, get you pretty far. So there's some cases here where you're just, you know, you're gonna have to turn it off, because it's just it doesn't make sense to leave it on. So I'll get here, I'll take this corner, I'll come around here, and then I will use the slipstream drive and go all the way up to the top. I can't remember if I can make this turn or not here. My Miracle Worker ship, I was able to do it, and I think I have the same exact setup. I don't think the turning is anything more, so I should be able to make this turn. If you're ever in a position where you're just not sure, it's better to turn it off as opposed to missing, you know, the star or hitting the edge and having to click, you know, the buttons, acknowledging that you don't have the authorization to leave the edge of the map. So I'll ride that out as far as I can this way, take it down the rest of the way. If you have to turn it off somewhere here, by the time you get, you know, halfway, you could use it again. You got some turns here that are kind of tight, so I'll normally just use warp speed coming back down towards the middle here, and I'll hit it again right in the center, bringing it all the way down past Rosanna Station and to the bottom of the map. Once I reach here, I'm actually going to transwarp to the Ryza sector. So it's a good one because it doesn't drop you in. There's some routes that you will use where it takes you to the Borg ground battle zone. but you're inside, you know, that system, and you have to then go back up to sector space and continue to go. And in the meanwhile, the clock is ticking. So there are some other routes that use transwarp, and mine does as well. But it's from the bottom left corner here, the Beta Quadrant, up to the Risa sector. And then I take that all the way up past Earth space dock, and then make a hard left and enter the Alpha Quadrant. I'll take that down right through the center and all the way around the bottom left corner up to DS9, all the way down to the bottom right corner, and then up through the top to the center and to the endpoint here. So I generally will use the transwarp going across the center, and then turn it on again once I hit Deep Space Nine, turn it off when I get to the bottom, and then up and transwarp for the last bit of that. This has been the most successful route that I have. I'll post a link to this map in the description below here. So let's go ahead and get back in the ship and go ahead and run this. All right, we are at the starting point here, the Sanex sector, Sanex system. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And let's get my ship pointing the right direction, right at the star there. And I'm going to accept it, and we're going to get right on it so we don't lose any time here. Here we go. Alright, we got that one. So I'm going to stay at warp speed until I get almost completely underneath Kronos. Even though the turn rate's a little bit better than stock, it's still not awesome. So I use the map quite a bit to navigate. Sometimes I'll manually do it. And I do control the throttle a bit to get some tighter turns where I want to have them. Important if you're going to use the map to time it out, because if you get too close to the star, it's going to want to stop you with the auto navigation, and if you click it too soon for going to the next star, you could miss it, not get close enough. So I don't auto the whole thing, but I do quite a bit of it. So I'll wait to... Also, if you just slightly change course a little bit before you get there, it won't auto stop you either. So it'll give you a little more leeway. So I'll start heading towards it, especially if I want to get a slightly better angle. I mean, you can't turn it a lot because you don't want to miss the star, but y'all just click the D or the A button just once or twice, just barely messing with the trajectory of your ship will kind of kill that auto function where it stops your ship. Some of these turns I manual it. I'll speed it up, slow it down a little bit. Sometimes running into the star is not a bad thing. It'll kind of bounce you in the right direction sometimes. Did I miss it? I missed it. Just barely. I mean, I was damn close to that. If you miss it and you catch it real quick, just back up. Don't turn the ship around. We'll see if that kills our chances here or not. Either way, we're still going to make a good amount of EC here. So not too bad. I mean, with, you know, basically next to, you know, all free stuff, you know, we're able to do warp 22.94, and the sector speed we're at 48. Since I messed that up, I may use some transwarp from Nimbus down to the center here. I'll have to kill it early, but it should be recharged before I get to the next longer leg that I should be able to make turns on. We'll see what happens. Vendor system next. See if we can make some time up. Some of these turns, I mean, this is basically a right angle turn. It's just not worth slowing down. You basically, you can turn faster, you know, at warp speed. See, I'm trying to do it now, and the angle's so huge. I get a lot farther, you know, just being at warp here. Turn faster and then speed back up, so I'm going to just kill it and let it recharge for the next stretch, or the next long stretch. I've seen some people hit the transwarp here and then just bring a wide kind of arc out, but I have a hard time doing that. Depending on how you timed it out, you're better off just waiting. Again, you're going to have to run it a few times yourself and, you know, kind of decide what makes the most sense for you. Or slipstream. I think I keep saying transwarp, but I am going to transwarp once, but other than that, if I say transwarp, I probably mean slipstream. It has to have been 3 or 4 months since I've ran this. See if we get this turn. It's really almost, yeah, it's really not even worth it. Stay at the slipstream there. Yeah, and so what'll happen is if you're not careful, if you are trying to auto-navigate and you don't, you do it too late, it won't accept it. You'll just keep going straight at like half speed. So I'm gonna hit this star here on the bottom, and as soon as we hear the noise, we're gonna transwarp to the Ryza sector. As soon as it drops you there, it should just automatically, yep, there's the noise. So even though we're not seeing it right away, where the hell am I? Okay, there I am. Okay, we're heading to the Orion system. make a hard left into the Alpha Quadrant. Six minutes left. Let's see. So once I hit the Tellar system, I'm gonna pilot the ship manually, and I'm gonna kind of aim directly down here so I can get more of a straight path. So if I were to go straight to the next system here, I wouldn't be able to make the next turn, and it would be a waste. So. I wouldn't engage auto navigate either while you're making a manual turn, because while that's happening, it's going to straighten you out. All the way up against the edge. Every time when you get to this next sector, you're going to get a little pop-up. It's kind of annoying, but it's going to kill your momentum here. I'm going to kill the slipstream. Got 4 minutes. It's a maybe. So, and I'm going to use Warp Drive all the way up to Deep Space Nine here. So I'll use Slipstream basically 2 more times from Deep Space Nine to the bottom right corner of the Alpha Quadrant, and then start heading back up towards the top. And as soon as I can engage it again, I'm going to do so. If you slipstream into DS9, there's some other paths that I've used in the past. You got to be real careful because it's a pretty busy system there, and you can end up bouncing all over the place and, you know, out of range of the point you need to touch base on. Sometimes I'll just you know, pilot through that area myself, making that turn. Otherwise, you can run into problems. How long we got? We got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We're actually looking pretty damn good here. I don't see any problems with finishing this. This is one of the longest straightaways here, so as soon as it's ready to pop, we still got 20-something seconds, so 2 minutes left to go. This might be one of my better runs. I think the best I've done, and this is with a C-Store ship on my account, I've had just under 2 minutes remaining. happened there, but I was about to miss that star for some reason. Jesus Christ. Well, it's a decent setup. I'm blowing it, and looks like we're still going to get this done, so. Got 1 minute left to get this next stretch. Missed one star, and I almost missed that when I was off and had to kill the transwarp. I got 25 seconds before I can transwarp again, and I have 40 seconds left on the clock here. I'll try and watch that, because you can't really... It doesn't tell you. You got to watch the time to see how much was left when you're done, because it disappears right away. I'm always interested to see how much faster I was able to do it. Three seconds for transwarp, and we got 20 seconds. I'm not even going to engage it because we're basically there. Okay. There we go. 14 seconds to spare. And that netted us a total of 925,000 EC. Not too bad. And I have a secret to admit to as well. I went to run this once, and my kid came out in the middle of it. His tooth had came out, and I missed. I had to get up and go. So I ran this on my other kid's account. I have two kids that both play off and on, and they have similar setup. But same exact ship and setup. But he does not have the console from. Let me pull it up here. From Gamma Flight. From the Iconian arc. So this stuff isn't actually slotted, the Borg stuff here. I moved it all. It's in the inventory just so you can see. I pulled off everything, and I left on a couple consoles just because I didn't want to mess with it. But the Borg, he does have the Borg engine, but he doesn't have the console. So the only thing that this ship had to give it some extra in terms of sector and slipstream is just the Gamma core. So if we had that console from the Delta Flight mission, that increases our turn rate at slipstream speed, which is it makes it very nice, correcting mistakes and making better turns where you can get more out of the slipstream, not having to turn it off. So you can complete this with just the ship and just the core. If you use the Borg engine, I'll drop that in here. This will give you additional sector speed. Let's see how much here. No, that doesn't give me anything extra. So we're at 22.9, and if I pull that out, so I didn't think it stacked with the core. Why is there still green coming out of my ship if I pulled that off? Did it not come off? It didn't come. Hold on a second here. Yeah, 22.9, so let's pull that back off of it. We're still at 22.9. So you don't get any extra benefit. It used to be that having this was, you wanted to have that with it. And let me just read it. What does it do here? There was something in that. Maximum warp factor 21, which is kind of a weird thing because it's not a warp core. So prior to that warp core coming out, this was the go-to because it really bumped up your... if you put that along with a core that had sector speed, that would give you the boost. But this core by itself exceeds... This warp core exceeds the Borg engine. So this is basically useless if you have this here. So you can complete Tour of the Galaxy with just having the Gamma core, and if you get the console from Delta Flight, that'll make your job even easier because you'll be able to turn faster turn rate at slipstream. So there you go, guys. There's just about 15 minutes worth of time, and you're just under 1 million EC. So you figured, if you dedicated, half hour on 2 tunes to do that, you're going to be just shy of 2 million EC. So if there's something you're grinding for on the exchange, I know like with my kids' accounts here, we didn't spend any money on these like I do on mine. I try and keep mine to a minimum, but let me put his loadout back in. He's got all epic out gear, and most of it anyways. And the way we did that in terms of weapons is we would run this Tour of the Galaxy for a couple days, and we would buy a Mark 8 epic weapon, and then we would just spend time upgrading them. And he was able to build out a pretty decent build. We were doing this mid last year when anti-proton was still kind of the in thing. But in any case, so you figure every 6-7 days. I mean, if you're doing it on two tunes, and you have a shared bank, or you have a friend that'll let you give him some of the EC and then have him give it to one of your other tunes. There's ways to transfer the stuff around if you trust them, or if you have an account bank. 2 tunes in 4 or 5 days, you could pick up an epic weapon that you can then work on upgrading, and you can end up with really nice gear on your ship. Or whatever else that you want to do with it. Now with the new Endeavor system as well, I mean, you can easily get another 500,000 EC every couple days. You're getting those kind of drops in the Universal, and you're getting some of that in your dailies. So there's no reason in a half hour and doing a little bit of your daily stuff, say an hour worth of playing, half of that you're still having fun completing your endeavors, those kinds of things. You should easily be able to make 2 to 2.5 million EC a day without it being a major grind. So I know my kid was doing it. He didn't have a shared bank, but he would run it when he first got on. He'd play some missions, do whatever it is he wanted to do, have a good time, and then at the end he'd run one of his other tunes, and then he'd give me the EC, and I would give it to the main tune that was going to be purchasing the stuff. So in any case, I hope that was helpful. I'll put up like I said, a link down in the description for the route that I take. I went through quite a few different ones. There's some other routes that I'll use on tunes I'm developing that maybe I don't have some of that gear, where you're not completing the whole thing, but there's particular sectors that you hit. From what I understand, I've only played the game a little under 2 years, but I guess prior to the change they made to the universe map, those sectors that existed then, if you hit all of those, you get an extra bonus. I think it's 125,000 EC. So there's a couple routes that you can take where it only takes you maybe 5-10 minutes without even a super fast ship, but you can still end up getting 400 or so thousand EC, or a little bit more than that, just by doing that central one. And maybe I'll do another video on that. It's good for people that have just leveled up to level 60 or 50, where it opens up the higher amounts for hitting each point. Prior, if you do this with a tune that is a low level, number one, your ship's not fast enough, and it sucks sitting there in between stars. It just takes forever. Everybody that's played the game hates that part of it. Luckily you can just transwarp to your missions now, but prior to that being free, it was a real nightmare getting around. But on top of that, each system that you visit, it doesn't pay out the same amount as what it will when you're a higher level. So in any case, maybe I'll do a follow-up video for that other run. So as soon as you hit level, I think it's 50 is when it goes up to the 25,000 per. And it's a nice little daily. You can do it in a fraction of the time as well, since you're not trying to cover the whole map or anything like that. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or suggestions for me, put them in the comments. I always appreciate that. And until next time, have a good one.